Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. If we're meeting for the first time, I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. And I suppose one of the perks of having my own business is I get to give myself my own job title. And that's what I came up with. It makes me so happy whenever I say those words, because it is a reminder that I have the awesome blessing of, God willing, being a voice in the world that encourages you. I think we all could use more encouragement, yes? And so the angels and I are here to help encourage and inspire your spirit. So I offer one-on-one angel sessions, soul mentoring, and a wide variety of classes to help keep you inspired. And you can learn more at my website, illuminatingsouls.com, where you can also sign up for my daily inspiration email blast, and you'll receive an inspiring email from me every weekday. So lots of ways we can connect. And I want to thank you for listening. It is such a blessing to get to spend this time with you. And if you have been listening for a while and you are enjoying the podcast, it would be wonderful if you would leave a review and rating on the Apple Podcast app or share about the podcast with some friends. We are growing by word of mouth. So anything you can do to help spread the word and spread the joy will be a blessing to our listenership. So thank you for being here. And now it's time to bring you soothing, loving waves of light to help you rest and relax. So there are different ways you can use this podcast. When I originally created it, I designed it to be a sleep podcast because I have been using sleep podcasts for years and I love them. And if you're going to use it in this way, I invite you to cozy on up and snuggle on in and get comfortable in your bed or wherever it is that you sleep. And I like to use earbuds, and I turn the volume down low, lower than I would if I were listening to an audiobook where I wanted to pay attention. And with a sleep podcast, the invitation is that you don't have to listen and pay attention to every word. It is intentionally designed to be a tiny bit boring, yet interesting. So I ramble a lot. I talked softly, and this is intentional so that the rhythm of my voice and the loving presence of the angels will help create a sweet sanctuary where you can drift off. I also know some of you listen during the daytime, whether you're commuting to or from work or going about your day, and I get to keep you company. So however you are guided to use this podcast, thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. I so appreciate this time with you. So as I record this, it is early morning and it is Valentine's Day here in the US. And I know Valentine's Day can be a mixed bag, and this is not going to be released until after Valentine's Day. But I thought I would bring in the sweet energies of this holiday for you. One of my childhood memories is of the giving of Valentines in school. And I remember we would each decorate our own box. Usually it was a shoe box or something with a slit at the top. And we would go around the classroom and give out our Valentines. And I remembered that there was a strategy that the kids that we liked the best, or the most popular kids in the class, would get the biggest Valentines. And then, we kind of go down the list to the smaller ones. And I want you to know that I would give you the biggest, most special Valentines that I had in my collection. And if we're really time traveling to my childhood, it might have Scooby-Doo on it, or it might have the Partridge Family. Maybe you would get a Valentine with Keith Partridge, aka David Cassidy. And then, of course, we usually would have those chalky candy hearts, but I wouldn't do that to you. I'm going to give you really good chocolate. And it's going to be astral chocolate, so you can have it. You don't have to worry about calories or food allergies or sugar. So I just want you to know that for me, spending my Valentine's morning sending you love brings me so much joy, and I want to share this joy with you. So we get to bathe in the divine love in this moment, and the angels are shining so much light upon you right now. So I'm going to call the angels in, even though they're already here. I love sharing the ritual with you. So I invite you to take a few nice deep breaths in and out, allowing your body to relax and receive the love that is flowing to you now. And beautiful angels on high, I invite you to join us here. And I ask that you bring in waves of divine love, and that this love constitute itself in ways that each of our beloveds will recognize it in the days or weeks to come. I ask that you bring them signs of magic, serendipity, inspiration, and joy. And angels, I ask that you help clear and balance our energy fields so that we can breathe more deeply and connect with the wisdom of our souls. I ask that you bring to us the divine heavenly light that helps us remember who we are as divine beings in human form. I ask that you help us to come into the deepest healing that is available to us in alignment with our soul's purpose. And dear ones, just take some nice deep breaths in, allowing these waves of light and love to gently wash over your body, your physical body, your light body, your mind, and your emotional heart. Just allow yourself to be bathed in divine love. The divine love is like an elixir. It is a vibration that brings with it a lightness of spirit. It helps us connect with the greater expanse of all that we are. And so I ask the angels to also help you deepen in your knowingness of your soul's path. That beautiful opportunities and sparks of inspiration are being seeded in your name. One of my favorite things about working with the angels is it reminds me that I, the earth girl, that is Laurel, that I need not do all the heavy lifting or strategizing in my life. That my soul knows where I'm going, that God knows what is here for me. And when I attune to my divine knowingness, when I lean into my connection with the angels, it's like the breath of God helps whisper to me what's next and where to go. I follow the sparks of inspiration, or the soul whispers, as I love to call them. And you will not hear them like a real physical voice. Instead, they float into consciousness, and they sound like you. There's a wonderful line in the movie The Bishop's Wife, and the angel Dudley, played wonderfully by Cary Grant, says something along the lines of, it is the angel's job to whisper into people's ears so they think it is their own idea. So for example, I don't know yet what classes I am offering in March, but I can feel something germinating. It's right there. And I've asked the angels to download it to me, help bring forth a new class that will inspire and uplift those who are meant to take it. Show me. Help me see. Bring it forward. So I release that prayer, that request, and then I start daydreaming and imagining and noticing what threads of inspiration are flowing to me. And my apologies, a loud plane just decided to flow over as I was talking to you. So I ask the angels to help me connect with the inspiration for something lovely and new that I can offer next month. So if you're on my mailing list, when you see the announcement come forward for a new class in March, you will be in the know that the seeds for that were planted and germinated, and the whispers just started coming in this week. And you can use this process for something in your life too. It doesn't just work for me because I'm super special. Listen, I'm special, but you are too. We all are. We're all super special. So, is there something the angels can help you with? Would you like some inspiration? Is there an area in your life where you would like to bring healing or a new adventure? Ask the angels to help you connect. And then maybe we can compare notes in the next month or so and see what seeds are being planted in our names. And I affirm that your prayers and your divine requests, they are being received by your angels who love you. And the bright, beautiful expansiveness of your divine soul is helping to bring to the earthly expression of you insight, knowingness, inspiration, and energy. You know, the lovely thing about divine inspiration, in my experience at least, is that it comes with its own battery pack. When divine inspiration finds me, it comes with energy, and I'm interested and I'm engaged. I don't feel like I have to push boulders up the hill. This is happening for me right now. I've been on a creative adventure, and I'm obsessed in the best way possible. I just want to engage with it. I want to play with it. I want to discover. I want to express. And nothing about it feels arduous. I was trying to come up with a word that would describe it. I want to engage and I want to learn. And this is what divine inspiration brings us. It helps us say yes. So here's to divine inspiration flowing to you in a way where you will feel the yes emerging through all that you are. So take some nice deep breaths in and out, allowing your body and your mind to rest, that you have done enough for this day, and it is your turn to receive the goodness that is here for you. So you cozy on up and snuggle on in, fluffing up your pillows and pulling up your blankets just so. And you can drift off whenever you are ready. And while you rest, I'm going to read to you and ramble for you for a little while. So for this episode, I was guided to go back to Country Life in America, which was published in the early 1900s. And the issue I'm going to read from and wander through the pages of is from June of 1907. I downloaded this off of Google Books, which is a treasure trove of goodness. If you haven't searched through Google Books, I invite you to do so, and you can ask it to retrieve for you books and publications by year or by keywords, and anything published, in the US at least, prior to 1928. So if it was published up to December of 1927, it's in the public domain. So many books and periodicals have been scanned by Google, and they're available. And so you can either read them online or download a PDF. And so I downloaded the PDF of this publication, and I was guided to bring this forward because I happen to love these episodes. So I listen to my own podcast as a sleep tool. And for some reason, these episodes where I wander through the pages of old magazines, they're just wonderful for falling asleep to. So perhaps they'll work for you as well. And I find them fascinating. So we're going to go into the Wayback Machine, into 1907, and see what's in store for us. So we start off with a full-page ad from Tiffany and Company. And they are advertising for their diamonds, for their jewelry. So they have solitaire diamond rings for $30, $53, $85, and $100. Now, before we scramble into the Wayback Machine and start pulling $20 bills out of the ATM, let me calculate for you what that would be in today's dollars. So the $30 ring would actually be $947. And the $100 ring would be $3,157. And this is all US dollars. So just something to think about. Because time travel, while it might sound very intriguing from this perspective, I also have to remind myself that I would be a Jewish woman in these times, and in all likelihood would not be earning this kind of money. I actually asked ChatGPT, which is AI, artificial intelligence, to help me understand that as a Jewish woman in my 30s, let's say, if I was around 30 years old, how much money I would be making per week. And it wasn't much. I could not have afforded a ring from Tiffany's, even in today's adjusted dollars. But we'll keep going. And now we're going to go to one of my favorite sections, which is the real estate section. So again, I'm going to adjust some of these for today's dollars, but one of the things that is so inviting to me is the sheer size of these estates. So when we talk about country life from the perspective of this publication, they aren't talking about it the way we might think about it today when we, at least for me, when I think of country life in America in 2023. I think of rural America. I think of farms. I think of agriculture. It's not that that was not considered the country back then, but this publication was really speaking about those who might want to leave the big cities like New York to go up to Westchester County or Connecticut or New Jersey because those areas hadn't yet been developed. So someone could buy a farm or a plot of land on Long Island or in New Jersey or Westchester County and have acres and acres of land. Nowadays, so much of those areas have been developed, right? Urban expansion has changed the landscape. So it's not only the amount of money that these estates cost, but the sheer size of them that I'm fascinated by. So we're going to start off with a section that is focusing on Montclair, New Jersey. So there's 3 homes in this particular advertisement, and they look enormous and beautiful. So one says, the above is a cut of Montclair residence located in a very desirable section of the town convenient to Lackawanna Station. It contains 12 rooms and 2 baths, and all modern improvements, and is situated on a plot of ground 116 feet front by 334 feet deep, beautifully laid out in lawn and garden, with numerous fruit and ornamental trees and shrubbery. Can be secured for terms reasonable. And it's $20,000. And I did the calculations, and that would be the equivalent of $631,000 today. Here's another one. So they're saying at beautiful Montclair, the most attractive suburb of New York, a community noted for its charming homes, glorious views, and beautiful drives, such is Montclair. Situated as it is on the mountainside, commanding a magnificent view of the surrounding country, including New York City and the Palisades, Montclair has rightly been termed the, quote, Athens of New Jersey, quote. Its fine schools, popular clubs, and handsome homes are some of the features that have made the town attractive as a place of residence. Only 13 miles from New York and reached by both Lackawanna and Erie railroads. The residence pictured below is located on one of the choicest residential streets of Montclair and is within 8 minutes' walk of a station. It contains 14 rooms and 2 bathrooms, fitted with open sanitary plumbing, hardwood floors, separate lavatory, 3 open fireplaces, 4 balconies, large verandas, from which a fine view of the mountain may be had. Property is 92 feet front and 200 feet deep. The price is $14,000 or $442,000 in 2023's currency exchange rate. Easy for me to say. And here's the third one. The handsome residence pictured in the lower right-hand corner is situated on the mountainside amid beautiful surroundings. Elizabethan in design and constructed of brick and stucco, it is ideally located and commands a magnificent view. The interior of the house is very artistically finished and contains living room, reception hall, dining room, butler's pantry, and kitchen. The second floor contains 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and sun parlor. The third floor has 4 bedrooms and bathroom, tiled bathrooms, and nickel fixtures. Reception room hung in tapestries, and the dining room finished in leather. The plot has a frontage of 154 feet and a depth of 380 feet. The price is $28,000, or converted to the dollar of today, it would be $884,000. But so the second floor has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the third floor has 4 bedrooms and a bathroom. And it has a butler's pantry and a reception hall. You absolutely would need help in that house, because that's a lot of house. Okay, here's a few more. Here's another one in Montclair. And, it's morning here and the birds are starting to chirp. So if you hear that, just in consciousness, add that in as lovely ambiance as we're talking about the country. So, a gentleman's residence beautifully located on top of a mountain, surrounded by fine shade trees, commanding unsurpassed view of surrounding country on every side. Only 3 minutes from trolley line, built of stone, upper story natural shingle, containing 15 rooms, 2 baths, large stone piazzas. Who doesn't want a large stone piazza? That sounds lovely. And 2 balconies, good-sized sun parlor. House has hardwood oak floors and hardwood trim throughout. All modern improvements, electric light, gas, water, steam heat, in first-class condition, exquisitely decorated, can be bought furnished or unfurnished. Owner will give almost immediate possession. A rare opportunity to secure an excellently built home with most comfortable and artistic interior arrangement. The price is $22,500 unfurnished. $10,000 can remain in mortgage, and that would be $710,000 in today's value. But still, you couldn't touch a house like that for $710,000 now. It'd be in the millions for sure. Okay, so I'm not going to be converting the money anymore because I would have to go back to my web browser, and I'm just going to keep reading because, perhaps you're drifting off to sleep and that part isn't even important anymore. So here's an opportunity to own Arbutus Lodge in Island Heights, New Jersey. I'm not quite sure where that is, but this looks like a magnificent, huge home, I guess, worthy of calling a lodge. So corner of Oak and River Avenues on a bluff overlooking Toms River. Most desirable property, best location, and the prettiest summer resort on New Jersey coast. A veritable yachtsman's paradise. A large, beautiful summer home, exceptionally well furnished. The lot is 50 by 186 feet. The cottage is in perfect order. Massive artistic open fireplace, sun parlor, and all city conveniences. 5 bedrooms, 3 communicating. I don't know what that means. And a very large, up-to-date bathroom on the 2nd floor alone. So it goes on to describe some other elements of the property and says also the fast, staunch, and comfortable 25-foot yacht Mina, winner of the Sewell Cup, twice in 1901 and 1904, the Blue Ribbon event of the Barnegat, I think that's the word, Bay, also the prettiest rowboat on the river, built of cedar and mahogany. Riparian rights, dock and yacht anchorage in front of the cottage. 56 miles from Philadelphia, 80 miles from New York near Island Heights Yacht Club. The house is affording its select membership of ladies and gentlemen, varied and constant entertainment. The house is ready for immediate occupancy for $10,000. Now, just so we're clear, the affording its select membership, I would not be invited. So, so much for waxing poetic about 1907. As someone who is Jewish, I likely, unless I was a Rothschild, would not be welcome into the yacht club. So we can end that dream right there. Not that I've ever really wanted to go to a yacht club. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but not quite my thing. But I will also say that these kinds of country homes were very popular for those who had the money for them, because if you lived in New York City during the summer, it was incredibly hot and humid, and it's densely populated. And so quite often those people who had the money to do so, they would escape to the mountains or to the beaches, so they would have lovely summer homes for that. And I'm not quite sure. Oh, it's on the coast of Maine. Oh my gosh, listen to this. Overlooking the ocean. 116 acres, stately maples on lawn, 550 feet of shore, bathing and boats, a 17-room house, large stable, outbuildings, all good repair. Keep a dozen cows, just, in case you want to. 60 apple trees, near boat landing, coast of Maine. To settle estate, only $3,500 part cash. For picture of the house, it says see farm on page 13 of Strout's List 18. I don't know what that is, but I might have to do a little Google search on that after I record this episode and see what's there. But, how lovely would it be if one of our ancestors were able to have purchased 116 acres of Maine oceanfront property with orchards, and somehow it stayed together, and then we could have a lovely retreat center. That would just be so nice. Okay, and here's an ad where they're selling a community for a summer home. Again, I would not be invited into this community, but I will still share it with you. So I'm going to affirm that in the astral realm, these communities are profoundly inclusive and lovely places to live. So this is called, I think it's Shinecock or Shinnecock. It's SHINNECOCK. So whatever that word is, Hills, Long Island. The ideal place for a summer home, another Newport, only 1 hour, let's say 1 3/4 hours away from New York. And then it says, if you have money and want the social advantages of a refined and exclusive circle in the climate of an ocean island where you can have acres instead of lots, with a good inn at your service, where every form of outdoor sport exists in its perfection, you will find no place equal to Shinnecock, I guess, Hills. Oh, okay. Well, listen, we're going to move on to a place where we could all live together. I want to find a place where we can all be together, and is not necessarily profoundly exclusive, because who wants to hang out with those people anyways? Okay, this place is huge, and I think it's in Boston or near there. So it looks like an enormous estate, and it says seashore and country are combined in the magnificent estate of Eben D. Jordan. And then it says the Forges near Plymouth, Massachusetts is for sale, consisting of over 1,300 acres of land, of which 300 acres are in a high state of cultivation. The mansion house is of wood, stone, and plaster in the Elizabethan style, containing 16 masters' bedrooms and dressing rooms. This is like Downton Abbey. So 16 masters' bedrooms and dressing rooms and 8 bathrooms. Also 8 servants' bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. The ground floor contains large square hall, living room, dining room, pantries, kitchen, laundry, etc. Also a large music room, billiard room, and smoking room, all handsomely finished. In front of the house is the forecourt, and on the south side the terrace garden overlooking the Forge Pond. Oak woods are in the rear towards the northwest. There is a well-planned private stable, 2 large breeding stables, 1 large covered riding ring, greenhouses with vegetables and flower garden, cow barn, dairy, piggery, and other various forms of farm buildings, library and entertainment hall, a manager's house, and 12 cottages, all in excellent condition. Electric lighting and all the larger buildings. The furniture in the mansion house could be purchased. An abundant supply of pure water, ponds, trout brooks, and trout hatchery. The views are unusually fine over a rolling country and the ocean about 1 mile distant. There are state roads to Plymouth 5 miles away and to Boston, also in several other directions. There is a direct railroad connection with New York, Fall River, and Newport. The estate is exceedingly well adapted for a country residence, combining it with very unusual opportunities for stock raising. So it doesn't give the sale price, but wow, that's amazing. And here's another one. This is in Massachusetts, another ginormous house. It says $16,000 buys this delightful seashore villa with about 50,000 square feet of ground. I don't know about you. I would love to manifest a delightful seashore villa in an inclusive community where we could all be welcome and enjoy life. So this is Belle Vista, which means beautiful view, I guess it says. Allerton Hull, Massachusetts. Cannot be duplicated for $35,000. This house is in perfect condition, freshly painted, has 17 rooms, hardwood finish, 5 open fireplaces, furnace heat in every room, electric lights throughout. The grounds are laid out with shrubbery, vines, and small trees. Fine yachting and surf bathing. The neighborhood is very desirable. Excellent roads for carriages and automobiles. A delightful 30-minute water trip across Boston Harbor to Boston. Steamers running every half hour or so from May to October. Also railroad and trolley accommodation to Boston. The price is $16,000, part of which can remain on the mortgage. Okay, listen to this one. And it doesn't have a price, but it's an enormous estate house. Like, again, huge, like it's an inn or something. And it says Campobello Island for sale. Now, I don't know if that's an island or that's what they just call it. Only a 15-hour ride from Boston to one of the most oh, it is an island. So, okay. What do I know? Only a 15-hour ride from Boston to one of the most beautiful islands on the Maine coast. It is 1.5 miles from Eastport, Maine. It has an area of 10,000 acres. Wow, 8,000 of which are for sale. Part of the 2,000 acres are owned by, and they give all of these names, which I'm assuming if you moved within society, you would know these people. I'll share the names with you anyways. Owned by Mr. James Roosevelt of Hyde Park on Hudson, Mr. Alfred Pell, Mrs. Hartman Kuhn, Gorham Hubbard, Mrs. Kate Gannett Wells, Dr. Russell Sturgis, and Dr. Sidney Lord. Also, Mr. Travis Cochran of Philadelphia, Mr. Lawrence Prince of St. Louis, and the Mrs. Brooks of Baltimore have erected charming places. I'm sure they all are people of some prestige. If we went into newspapers.com, we would probably find all sorts of society stories. Think Philadelphia story, yes? Tracy Lord and C.K. Dexter Haven, I think is what they're saying here. The island is 10 miles long and between 2 and 3 miles wide, has 50 miles of the finest roads and many bridle paths. I don't know how to say this, Tinny Coed Hotel, so it's spelled Ty-N-Y, Coed Hotel, fully furnished, goes with the property. So there, you can immediately have a place to put the people you don't really want to spend a lot of time with. A number of springs and the finest of waters can be found at different places. The island offers an unparalleled opportunity for an exclusive summer resort. Oh, there's that word again. I don't like that. But listen, if I'm frickin' buying 8,000 acres, I'm going to invite whoever I want, and you would be absolutely welcome there. Whether you would be considered in the exclusive list or not. We will have a very bohemian, creative, artistic, mystical, wonderful retreat center. And you could bring your pets because clearly we're going to have plenty of space for everybody. Okay, so Professor Shaler of Harvard College says, the climate of the island is the most important of its features. Its position is such as to ensure its absolute immunity from the excessive heats of summer, while its insulated position and the strong wind currents of water that sweep around it makes its winter climate less rigorous than that of the neighboring mainland. The extensive forests of balsamic firs seem to affect the atmosphere of this region, causing a quiet of the nervous system and inviting to sleep. All right, so when we invent our time travel machine, I will find my way to purchasing this property for us, and we can have our Sleepy Bedtime Blessings retreat there. It'll be wonderful. And then there are more real estate ads, which aren't, listen, I'm going to just sort of stop with real estate there because I cannot beat buying 80% of an island with a giant estate on it, like something out of Downton Abbey or the Gilded Age. And then there's a page for the kennel directory for dog breeders, which, again, then if we're going to be living in a Tony'd society, you wouldn't just have a mutt, you would have some sort of purebred. And I just thought I would share with you the breeds that they are advertising. So Boston Terriers, Pomeranians, quite a few what look to me to be pit bulls, but they would, of course, not be considered that. They would be considered sort of a terrier mix or something like that. Boston Terriers, lots of Boston Terriers, Cocker Spaniels, English Bulldogs, lots of English Bulldogs, Maltese Terriers, a Dachshund, Irish Terriers, Scottish Terriers, Airedale puppies, Fox Terriers, let's see what else, Collies. Oh, they have Samoyeds. That makes me happy. I grew up with Samoyeds. So, Silver Persian cats. You wouldn't just have a barn cat, you would have a Silver Persian cat. English Bloodhounds, Russian Wolfhounds. The other thing I will say is a lot of these breeds, their standards have changed over the years. So they look a little bit different. And then there's an ad for different horses, of course, and livestock, which I will skip over. And then we get to the list for the different schools. And I don't know why these sound torturous to me. Like if someone sent me away to one of these schools for girls, it just sounds terrible. I think I would have absolutely wanted an education and valued it, but being sent away to, some sort of school where they're trying to refine me. So I'll read some of these to you. The Gilman School for Girls in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Corporation controlled by Harvard professors who instruct in Radcliffe College. Many teachers, mostly Radcliffe graduates. The classes are small. Courses of studies are planned for each pupil. primary, intermediate, academic, and college preparatory departments. Teaching is thorough. Examinations required only of girls going to college. Well, okay, that doesn't sound bad. Okay, so I'd be okay with that part, I think. Schoolhouse and residence separate, built to be full of sunshine and good air. Basketball, tennis, Radcliffe Gymnasium, and swimming pool. No, I would want none of those. Harvard museums, I'd be interested in that, and Boston afford great facilities and peculiar attractions. Now, I don't think they mean peculiar the way we would think of that, but peculiar attractions, I'm all for. That sounds very interesting. Okay, Quincy Mansion School for Girls in Quincy, Massachusetts. Beautifully located 6 miles from Boston in one of the most healthful suburbs. A fine estate of 8 acres. Ample grounds for outdoor recreation, artificial lake for boating and skating, 3 fine buildings, large library, gymnasium, regular and graduate courses of study, advantages in art, music, and languages, college preparation and certificate, large corps of experienced teachers. Now this one sounds good. European travel and study. Sign me up. 9 months trip, 5 months of study under the best masters in Florence, the great art center of Europe, and a city noted for its delightful social life. 4 months devoted to travel, number of young ladies limited to 6. For rates and circular address, and then they tell you where to mail. Okay, that sounds amazing. And then we've got military school for boys, which sounds awful. The Mitchell Military Boys School, a thoroughly modern military home school. Just ick. No thank you. Oh, this sounds terrible. Lazel Seminary for Young Women. Briefly, the school aim is to cultivate the intellect, develop a sound body, and to fit the student for the womanly duties of life. Ew. No, thank you. Oh, they're probably talking about etiquette, how to sit, right? How to entertain. Oh, no, thank you. No, I'm going to go to Florence. I'm going to opt for the European travel and study. And here's another one that is definitely not for me, Rogers Hall School for Girls. And it's an image of a girl or woman, I guess, so she would, be in her late teens perhaps, and she is holding a golf club. So right there you have completely lost me, but perhaps you would like this. So it says, faces Rogers Fort Hill Park, beautiful grounds devoted to outdoor spaces, golf, tennis, basketball, field hockey, horseback riding. So the only thing I would be interested in is horseback riding there. But maybe you would like these things, so I'll read it to you because maybe this is where you would want to go. So thorough preparation for Bryn Mawr and Radcliffe examinations. Certificate admits to Smith, Vassar, and Wellesley. Advanced general course for graduates of high schools. Listen, I shouldn't poo-poo that. For somebody, that may be their dream come true. We do have another military academy, which just makes me feel sad. Okay, this next school just reminds me of the limited roles and opportunities that were available, especially to women back then, or girls. This is Miss Baird's home school for girls. 1 hour from New York City and 5 hours from Boston via the railroads. Ideal environment for study and recreation, broad culture, real training of the body, mind, and manners. The home life is replete with inspiration tending to develop each girl into a useful and attractive member of the family and of society. I would have completely rebelled against all of that. This is going to be a little of a, not really a non sequitur, but perhaps a little tangent. One of my favorite books in terms of somebody who inspires me is Beatrice Wood's autobiography called I Shock Myself. So Beatrice Wood was an artist, and she lived to be 105 years old. She was a potter, and she passed away in the 90s, I think. And in her autobiography, she talks about how she was raised to be a socialite. So this kind of life that Miss Baird's homeschool for girls would have prepared her for. I'm not saying she went there, but it's that kind of culture, right? So she was raised to be a socialite, and what she wanted to do was to be an artist. So she convinced her parents to send her to Paris to study art with a chaperone. And she ditched the chaperone, and she got herself a garret apartment, which is like the attic apartment that she had to get up to the apartment through these rickety stairs. And she says in the autobiography that the walls of her little apartment were lined with her paintings and drawings. And she says they were terrible, but she did not care because she was an artist living in Paris. And I love that spirit and that energy. And so as I'm reading about these schools and exclusivity and the roles, it's a reminder that it really took a lot of courage and vision and sense of vitality and worthiness to break out of the roles, especially if you were someone who didn't feel like the role that was expected of you fit you. Listen, for I'm sure for many of the people of those eras, these roles were their dreams come true, right? If someone wanted this to be adept in etiquette and social graces and posture and conversation and how to plan the perfect dinner party, that's wonderful if that's someone's dream. I absolutely know that if I were Laurel back then, none of this would have been available to me. I would be a housewife in all likelihood. If I was working, I would probably be a stenographer, or I'd work in a shop. And, life would be what it is. And I think that we are so blessed to live in this time and space, especially those of us who live in the Western world, that we can blossom in the ways that bring us a deep sense of fulfillment. So God bless all those who had to attend these schools, especially if they didn't want to be there. So I hope that wasn't too much of a digression. Well, this one sounds interesting, and I couldn't go because I would be a girl, but this one sounds cool. The Summer Cavalry School in Culver, Indiana. What could be finer for a boy's vacation, or I'm going to say, and a girl's too? What could be finer for a child's education than a course in horsemanship? Sign me up. Because I think had I had the opportunity to learn horsemanship when I was young, I could have found my center of balance. Think of the satisfaction of learning how to ride, the fun, the hardened muscles, and the increased pluck and perseverance, and the wholesome refreshment of a summer in the saddle. Careful oversight, select associates. Well, there we are with that word again. But we would go together, so it would be okay. wholesome and beautiful surroundings, a great variety of aquatic and athletic sports, a splendid trip to the Jamestown Exposition, a feature this summer. So the part that I would have loved would be going to some kind of horse camp. I loved the idea of horses as a kid, but I lived in Skokie, where, horses weren't really a thing. There was a stable. It was Harm's stable. And I did get to take horseback riding lessons. But one of my great disappointments of physical world reality was that the ease with which I could ride horses in my daydreams and in my imagination had absolutely no bearing on my reality. My experience of horseback riding was I was still clumsy in the saddle, and I jiggled a lot, and I was afraid. And that was a deep disappointment when I realized that I was never going to be able to ride a horse and gallop across the open plain in sheer exhilaration and delight the way people did in the movies and on television. Because in my mind, I should be able to do that. And then in reality, I had this, chunky body, and my center of gravity is elusive at best. And I did not have a gift for horseback riding. One of the disappointments of this lifetime. I don't know, do any of you kind of keep a running list of what you want to experience in your next incarnation if we are to have one? I have a couple, and I'm now going to add graceful in the saddle, riding horses, where I have a wonderful relationship with the horses and they with me, and they get to have amazing lives and be out, in great green expanses. And every once in a while we get to go riding together. If you're wondering what else is on my list, that I am happy I find my beautiful partner. I will have an amazing singing voice where I will get to sing gospel music, and I will get to be on Broadway as a singer and a dancer, and sing with big choirs and make beautiful music, and I will be able to dance, and I wouldn't mind knowing how to ice skate really well. And there's other things on my list, but just so you know, this summer Cavalry school in Culver, Indiana has reminded me of my dream of being a good horseback rider, which never came true. But that's okay, because many of my other dreams did come true. So I will not bemoan the loss of that dream, but I will share it with you. So we'll buy an island with a beautiful Downton Abbey-like estate where we can hang out with horses and animals, and you can bring your dogs and your cats, and they're all going to get along. And we'll have some amazing chefs who make us delicious and healthy and not so healthy food. And we can go boating. I don't know the first thing about boating, but that just sounds lovely. Kind of lazing along on a boat. We'll have a labyrinth, so we can walk the labyrinth in quiet contemplation. We'll have outdoor fire pits where we can sit around and share our stories and watch the sky and the stars and the fireflies, and it's going to be lovely. So I will send you the astral brochure for our astral retreat. So I think we'll end here We didn't even get to any articles, but there's a lot of dreaminess to these opportunities, these estates, and this conversation. So thank you for allowing me to spend this time with you. I am so deeply grateful for you, and you are precious in all the world. I love you very much, and we will talk again soon. Thank you.